All right. Ready? All right. Well, good evening, everyone. We appreciate your attendance, and I hope you all had a great time walking through the Speedway Municipal Center. I think it's a great building, great facility. Really has been a boon to our operations as we've all come together in the same location. If you didn't know, we used to be in 3 and 4 different places, and it's made it much easier to work together as a town. So we appreciate that. Couldn't have done it without the support of the community and the available property, so it's been a great thing, so thank you. Well, I am Grant Kleinhens. I'm the town manager, so I'll be the MC this evening. No dancing, no singing. I'll just try to guide us through this effort this evening. So this is our 2021 State of the Town. The last couple of years we've done it not live, but on video, pre-recorded. So this is a good thing that we're returning to some state of normalcy and able to see everyone and rub elbows with our neighbors. So thank you. Just a couple of things. I wanted to introduce some of our town councilors. So we have Vince Noblet, our town council president, Gary Pettigo, one of our town councilors, Gary Rakes, our vice president on the town council, and Eileen Fisher was here earlier. I'm not sure where she went, but those are 4 of our 5 councilors. They give a lot of their time and effort to moving about the business of the community. So if you ever want to know what they make on an hourly basis, don't ask, because it's not very much. But we do appreciate their service. They work very hard to bring the community together and help things move forward. We also have Jacob Blaisdell, who is our town clerk treasurer over there. And we have State Representative Renee Pack with us this evening.
Good evening, everybody.
And then we have several boards and commission members. If you could all please stand, as well as town employees. So anybody who serves on one of our boards or commissions or is a town employee, don't make me come get you and make you stand. We had a board and commission appreciation event last week over at Delar IndyCar Factory, and it was great to get together and once again show appreciation for those who serve our community without pay for the most part. So appreciate all of their service as well as our town employees. Our employees are first class. That's why our community is so great. And without those great leaders in their own departments and their own spheres of influence, we would not be the community that we are. So I wanted to thank all of you for that. And really this State of the Town is to highlight their accomplishments over the past year, and there's quite a few of them. Just a couple of other things. The Lions Club, thank you for providing refreshments earlier. We appreciate that. Thank you. Once again, a great community organization that helps out quite a bit. So at this point, if you could all stand and remove hats, we have a combined honor guard with our police and fire department, Speedway Police, Speedway Fire. They are going to do the flag ceremony. And then also we have Brittany Matthew with us, who is a 6th grader at Fisher Elementary, who will be leading us in the Pledge of Allegiance. So thank you.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You may be seated. Thank you for your attention. So at this point, Father Paul Chicaney from St. Christopher Parish will give our invocation.
Thank you for this opportunity. Let's bow our heads. Loving and merciful God, you touch our lives in many and varied ways. As our relationship and the communion of peoples mirrors your abundant design and wisdom, we give you thanks for the town of Speedway for our blessings, talents, resources, and people that make up our community. As we gather, review our past, and envision and dream our future, we humbly ask your guidance to help our town to grow and to prosper. Guide our leaders entrusted with the care of our community to bring peace and tranquility to our residents and our visitors. Finally, God, heal hearts that are broken, gather those who have been scattered, and enrich all of us with your wisdom. We ask this in your name. Amen.
Thank you, Father Paul. So I've been the town manager for 8 months, started in July of last year. So it's been a short tenure so far for me, but I've enjoyed it. And one of the things I've realized quickly about our community is we are who we are because of our partners. We have great business community leaders in our community, great employers, great organizations, Lions, I mentioned, great schools, just great leadership that helps grow our community and help us moving forward. So tonight, one of the things we're going to do is hear from a few of those community leaders and have them talk about some of the accomplishments that their companies and organizations have had over the past year. And I look forward to this part because I don't have to speak very much. So first off, we are going to hear, we are going to hear from Dave Graziosi, CEO of Allison Transmission. So thank you. And we attended this week a ribbon cutting ceremony for the Innovation Center, and it was really great to see that building, and it was nice to have you tour our facility. Not as great, but we appreciate you guys being here.
Thank you very much. It's very kind. You haven't heard me speak yet, so I appreciate the enthusiasm. So, again, Dave Graziosi, Chairman and CEO of Allison. I joined Allison in 2007. So I became fortunate enough to be and honored to be a CEO of Allison middle of 2018. So my first opportunity to present at your State of the Town, I would tell you, I think we do something similar at Allison, the State of the Business. It's great to get all of your employees together. I was thinking, I typically don't get to speak to this many people unless I'm paying them, so I really appreciate that part. So thank you again for the invitation, and let me start by thanking all of you for your enduring support of our business and our team. We take being part of Speedway as really a critical part of our business, our heritage, but what the town, frankly, has extended to us in terms of support, frankly, presence in our business and supporting our team, especially over the last 2 years, as all of us have had to deal with a number of different issues. The town, the city has been tremendous in terms of supporting us as we have, as an essential business, operated throughout that period of time. So I certainly thank all of you immensely for that. So again, thrilled to be here, and I'm going to tell you in advance, the best part of anything that you're going to see relative to this presentation are the videos. So Brian, if you can move to the next slide.
This is your workspace. Out here with the builders, the drivers, and the doers. You work hard, you dream big, and never stop asking, what if? Days are long, and accomplishment is measured in tons, miles, and sometimes the sweat of your brow. We know because we're working right there with you. We are Allison, the world's foremost manufacturer of commercial duty, fully automatic transmissions. We're at home here, even when getting here is as hard as the work you do once you've arrived. Day in and day out, we're helping people just like you deliver the goods, dig deeper, go further, and climb higher. We're putting the power in your hands, no matter where the job takes you. And we don't take our mission lightly, because we never know when lives will depend on the job you do. or our transmissions. For more than 100 years, we've been building a reputation based on product quality, reliability, durability, and performance, helping you work more efficiently, laying the groundwork for getting more done.
Allison Transmissions we find to be very reliable.
We have not had one transmission failure in these trucks.
When I got into Allison Transmission, man, it was a relief.
Die vollautomatischen Getriebe sind für uns von Vorteil, da der Fahrer nicht von Hand schalten muss, nicht vom Verkehr abgelenkt ist, wir schnell vorankommen.
I spent 9 years in the United States Marine Corps, and we ran Allison products every day. I tell you, Allison's been a great partner.
We don't lose the momentum with the Allison.
You've got to have an Allison.
Together, we're raising the bar, moving mountains, pushing boundaries, and remaking the landscape, helping you save fuel, make more stops, and reach more customers. The power of Allison can be seen in every product, relationship, and customer success we share. Our mission is to provide the most reliable and valued propulsion solutions in the world, to enable our customers to work more efficiently. We are improving the way the world works. We are Allison.
Thank you, Brian. If you'd jump to the next slide. So very, very briefly, and it captured in the video, certainly proud, we talk about we are Allison, you are Allison too, right? So everything that you see in terms of the delivery of those products, those services, the critical nature of them, things we all rely on every day, we tend to take those for granted. Those products support everything that you touch every day. So we're very proud of that, as well as, frankly, the emergency services that we support, taking your kids to and from school, getting you back and forth to work on buses, anything that has a heavy stop-start duty cycle or how the vehicle is used, that's what we support. A big part of that, as you saw, is what we refer to as defense vehicles, very proud part of our history. We're also very proud in terms of the veterans that we have in our business and continue to support military through post-military careers, and certainly a significant part of why we are very proud of what we do. We're protecting the people in the field to protect us. So with that, as we indicated, over 100 years in the community, one of the big parts, you talk about our values and what we do. One of the big, talk about our values, which are many. One of the key ones is teamwork. Part of that teamwork is the collaboration that we have with our UAW labor partners. So tremendous relationship with that team and what they do for us. I will tell you the last 2 years under COVID have really been demonstrating that, because that team with the rest of the workforce has been in supporting what we do as an essential business, and not an easy thing to do, frankly. So we have a tremendous amount of gratitude to them, but we continue to have a very strong partnership in terms of how we work with our business every day, but what they allow us to do, and frankly, the uninterrupted operations of our business throughout COVID. Brian, if you go to the next slide. Very quickly, the history is, as many of you know, James Allison founded our business in 1915. What I'll focus on here, the balance of presentation, is what we've done in Speedway over the last few years, both to our business as well as the community and the things we've supported. We're very fortunate to have a founder with the legacy that really touched philanthropy. So this dates back to, he donated funds in 1915 to renovate and electrify community churches, Oregon, in 24, used those resources to construct a school during the Depression, really heightened the philanthropic awareness of our workforce, which then launched into, as he would phrase it, quietly do good work. So we are a very quiet culture as a business, despite our $2.4 billion in sales last year. We're a humble bunch, and I think that comes from the roots of all of you in the community that we're fortunate to work in live in many cases. That's a big part of how we think about our business. So you don't necessarily read headlines about Allison, about the things that we do, but we're very proud of what we do. We don't do it because we want headlines. We do it because it's the right thing to do. So you'll see a number of activities that we've launched, but when James Allison unfortunately passed in 28, part of that, the divestiture to General Motors at the time was a commitment to remain Allison's headquarters for 10 years in Speedway, and here we are, I'm proud to say, 93 years later with our global headquarters here, so, and we again appreciate that. Brian, if you go to the next slide. Community involvement, again, a big part of what we're very proud to do, what we have and how we think about our values is we want to positively impact the communities where our employees live and work. And obviously this is the biggest community that we live and work in. But what does that mean? That's really off of the philanthropic legacy of James Allison. A few examples here, very recently, as part of our STEM efforts, we've established a partnership with Speedway High School toward annual scholarship paid internship at Allison to graduate the high school's STEM program. We will continue to support very aggressively STEM. As Vince and I were talking earlier, as I think about it, we want as many Allison employees as we can coming out of the Indianapolis area. It's amazing to us the talent that's in this area, but how much of it we need to really continue to attract into our business. It's also important to us, we can recruit people from outside of Indianapolis. I can be honest with you and tell you one of the easiest recruiting jobs is for people that are in Indianapolis because they know how good it is. And this is part of why we're most recently, in the last month, actually established a $250,000 commitment to Marion University, and those funds will be used to establish the state-of-the-art building that will house their School of Engineering. So we're extremely proud about that and look forward to bringing graduates into our business. And again, it's all about creating local talent, but actually having local talent stay local is very important to us. Finally, we actually publish an annual report, which is available on our corporate website. That'll give you a better overview of all the different things that we do, both locally as well as with our global employees. Brian, if you jump to the next slide. Just talk about some investments we've made here recently. Again, very humble beginnings with a quiet culture. We continue to do many things locally in terms of investment. Our Speedway campus now covers about 230 acres with facilities spanning over 3 million square feet. So it's quite a footprint. It also continues to be not only our headquarters, but our primary manufacturing location. Our products go all over the world from Indianapolis. We remain committed, again, to investing in local infrastructure. The most recent for us is certainly, and again, thank you for your support with the Town Council joining us for our ribbon cutting at the Innovation Center was another roughly $50 million investment, to be honest with you. So as you think about just creating a building to put engineers together and innovate is something we've thought about for a number of years, and with our board of directors' support and the business actually being able to do that. But just since in 2021, $93 million was invested in Speedway, just to give you a broad number. And I don't say that because you should congratulate us. We congratulate you for having the conditions that we can actually invest in. If you think about what that means, we can invest money all over the world. We chose to do it in Speedway. So very proud of that. And again, with expanding and frankly continuing to upgrade our facilities, attracting talent. That's what it is. There is a war for talent, so to speak, right now. So we are upgrading and continually looking at ways to build the value of our business and make it more attractive. The recently completed Vehicle Electrification Environmental Test Center, also located on our Speedway campus. It's about a 60,000 square foot facility that was first opened in 2020. It's really a unique or bespoke facility. It's really one of its kind in the Midwest, but I would argue one unique globally in terms of capabilities. And I know part of the Town Council had the opportunity to tour the facility, but it is really phenomenal in terms of capability. So it also allows us, both for our internal testing, we also sell the services of that test center to others. One of the biggest things that I'm very proud of is it keeps our people off the road. So we are not putting our people at risk in terms of going out. And we have to test the products, as you can imagine, in all types of weather. What that allows us to do is keep them out of vehicles. So they're not on the road, they're in that facility. So we can test four-season, year-round to 18,000 square feet and not leave a garage. So it's a very exciting development for us, but I think the big part for me is not only its capabilities, but the safety of our team. Brian, if you take the next slide, we'll take a look at a brief video on the vehicle environmental.
Allison's overriding mission is to improve the way the world works. We believe the Vehicle Electrification and Environmental Test Center will allow Allison and its partners to complete year-round testing right here in Indianapolis, Indiana.
Our customers and partners will be able to replicate the extreme environments to solidify dependable, reliable, repeatable, and secure results all in one centralized location.
Validate, develop, and bring new products to market faster in an environment which is safe and secure.
When a partner comes to test here, their data is confidential, all of the information that they have. We have a cloud-based platform which further accelerates product development and get products to market more quickly. It's kind of a dream for an engineer, making our products work harder, work better, serve the needs of our customers.
We're not relying on Mother Nature to deliver the right conditions for testing. We can control the environment here.
Hot soak and cold soak chambers, plus 125 Fahrenheit to a minus 54 Fahrenheit. Altitude testing down to sea level, up to 5,000 meters or 18,000 feet. Full road load simulation with 2 chassis dynamometer test cells inside the facility, a heavy duty and a medium duty.
We provide electrification capabilities above 500 kilowatts with a maximum 900 volts of DC power. This allows customers to operate their vehicle without relying on the vehicle batteries, but rather continuous emulated batteries within the vehicle environmental chamber. Additionally, our capabilities include a bulk hydrogen supply for fuel cell electric vehicle testing. This hydrogen supply allows continuous running without the limitations of onboard pressure tanks. These capabilities for both electric and hydrogen vehicles optimize the development schedule and resources of our customer.
Data can be visualized and shared with the customer live.
We can test electric vehicles, hybrids, emissions testing, performance, onboard diagnostics, any variety of tests. Options are limitless.
The Vehicle Electrification and Environmental Test Center is just one example of Allison's commitment to innovative engineering solutions.
A seasonally independent, repeatable, reliable test facility that lets us compress the product development time frame.
It's like nothing you've ever seen.
Extreme conditions.
Repeatable.
The round-the-clock operation.
One of a kind.
Secure.
Reliable.
Brian, if you jump to the next slide. So that facility is actually located on the south side of our campus. Then we have the Innovation Center, which we completed the ribbon cutting for on Monday. You can see the photo there of the ribbon cutting. We're actually successful cutting the ribbon, so I'll give us that in terms of I appreciate that. It's about a 96,000 square foot facility. That's another $45 million investment. So between that and the VEET, as we refer to it, we love acronyms. That's about $100 million of investments just in those two facilities from 2019 through very late last year. So again, very proud of that. And again, thank the town and for your support and frankly, I think the vote of confidence in terms of our team. Brian, you go to the next slide. So a few things, We continue to make investments in our facilities and are certainly proud to do that. And again, with your support, but really thinking about advancing not only our technology and propulsion technology, but the sustainability, the environmental impact of that. So our products are of the highest quality, I think, in our history, I would say, and certainly the most efficient from a fuel perspective, and also from emissions. So we continue to drive that and understand our impact on the community, and also continue to make a number of changes in our operations in terms of utility footprint and such. A little inside Allison information and a demonstration of our quiet culture. Over the last 5 years, we've also completed a new powerhouse, which, not that this is old, but 1940s, 50s vintage was completely replaced. So very efficient. We use a lot of compressed air in our operations. The idea was to reduce the energy impact of that. So it's a brand new powerhouse, as I said. It was a multi-year process, but a big part of what our capabilities are. So we're very much self-sustaining in that respect. We also, at the same time, have acquired several pieces of real property on the perimeter of our campus. The reason for that was, frankly, give us the ability to repurpose them. So down on the corner of 10th and Lyndhurst, the Speedway gas station behind that, we actually acquired that property and actually used that as an extension of our ride and drive test track, which we needed that space. We also looked at, we believe it's a higher purpose, not that there was anything wrong with what was being done with it, but we saw the opportunity to extend our perimeter and our property and put it to better use, and I think we're hopefully keeping it up to your satisfaction in terms of the optics of it, but it's meant really to help us in terms of bringing customers in and extending our operations. On the southeast side of the perimeter of our now 230 acres, we've acquired a number of properties in that area. And again, give us flexibility in terms of growth. We also was really to assist the town in terms of its efforts to improve some of those areas. So we're very proud of that as well, and keeping those areas up. So again, it's about, it's not just about improving Allison, it's about improving the town. So, not to mistake us, we are a for-profit enterprise, just to be clear. But, we have a number of objectives, and one of those, again, is to make, hopefully, you proud and proud to have us as based in Speedway. Finally, again, we're very, as I said, motivated to attract and retain talent. We have over 3,000 people in the U.S. at this point. 60% of our employees are actually here in Indianapolis. So a significant part of our operation, and probably 85 to 90% of our output is from Speedway. So in terms of all the products that you see and our ultimately the volumes that we're fortunate enough to sell. I would also say, we remain steadfast in terms of our commitment to creating more jobs and fueling the town of Speedway as well as the city of Indianapolis. And again, the talented employees getting back to not only impacting our business, but impacting communities. For many generations, we're fortunate. I'm always surprised, having grown up on the East Coast, I was not used to a situation in businesses where you had multiple generations of individuals working in a business, but just amazing in terms of what the lineage of Allison is, and again, with your support. Speaking of which, I can't help myself but take the opportunity to do some recruiting while I'm here. So I've been well schooled on this one, but we have, if you move to the next slide, Brian, please. You think about where we are certainly hiring people, so we're very motivated to get to more employees. So both hourly as well as salaried workforce, but it's something that, again, it's very hard for us to make all the things we need to do without employees. So I would encourage all of you to think about and promote Allison. So, and again, the impact is not only to Allison, but it's to the town of Speedway. Our team certainly is very pleased with a number of the changes that have been made on Speedway and trying to, frankly, be patrons of the local businesses. We have events. We actually had an event at IMS last night. So again, we do these things. We don't put them, don't fly around planes with notes on the back of them or anything like that. But we're very active. So, but we like to be, frankly, we don't have an impact. So we get things done, as our quiet culture is. But we continue to contribute, and that's an important part. But we need employees. So to the extent that you would honor us with your presence in terms of work or making referrals to our business, we'd certainly appreciate that. To the extent that you're interested, AllisonTransmission.com, as you could see on that slide, or /careers is where you would go to hopefully help us with getting more great employees and continuing to help the town and build value here for you. So with that, I thank you again for your patience and attention.
Thank you, Dave. Appreciate your time here and what you guys do for our community. Thank you. We also have other partners that help our community. Sanjay Patel, CEO of MHG Hotels, has invested millions of dollars in our community as well, has one hotel under construction with another one that's operating. So we're going to invite Sanjay to come up and speak to us about his activities here in Speedway. Thank you, Sanjay.
Thank you very much, and thank you for having me here, Dave. Great presentation there. You guys are doing quite a thing there. I want to start by saying that I started my career in hotel here in Speedway. I came from India back in '86. If you all remember, there was a hotel across the street from the main entrance. That's where I started working when I came from India back in '86 as a housekeeping front desk. And that's where my career began. And about 5 years ago, a gentleman came to me and said, "Hey, you want to develop a hotel in Speedway?" Well, I've developed multiple hotels since then, but a gentleman came and said, "You want to develop a hotel in Speedway?" And I said, "All right, I'll go out and look at it." And we looked around. There was a few other developers who were looking at the market as well. And they passed. I ended up doing the deal, and so we built that courtyard by Marriott on Crawfordsville Road, opened 2 years ago. That hotel is best performers in our portfolio that many developers passed. And that hotel ranked in top 1% in entire Marriott system for a guest service. So at the time when the other developers thought that the hotel would not work there, we made that work, and now we're building another one across the street, as you may know. That is even bigger hotel with a restaurant, bar, and we can host up to 350 people conference, weddings, whatever, right? So I really want to thank everyone involved with the project here in building department. They have been very helpful on getting the project through here. Team, great help from Gary and everyone else, and we're really proud to be part of this community. And the town has been very helpful in getting through all the approval processes and so forth. So it was pretty. We do these hotels, we do developments throughout the country actually, and this is probably one of the best community and it's not because I started here or because I'm here, but we have projects going all over the country, but this is probably one of the best community that I have ever worked in. And thank you. Thank you, and thank you for your support, and hopefully after, maybe there's a room for a third hotel. Who knows? After we build this, and we continue growing, and so, anyways, thank you for having me, and we appreciate all your support.
Yeah, that was going to be my next question, Sanjay, what's next? So we'll see. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Maybe we'll have another announcement next year. Who knows? Once again, you'll notice great partner for our community. Invested a lot of money and time, and has worked hard, and it's paid off. So it's great to have those types of organizations and people in our community. It's what makes Speedway great. So I don't know if you know. We have a little racetrack over here, right? Pretty big part of our community. So Doug Bowles, president of IMS, is going to speak with us now. But it's obviously one of the biggest parts of our community. It draws hundreds of thousands of people every year and brings in many, many events. And we're really excited to have them here and excited to see what's going to happen after COVID and get back to normal racing. So Doug Bowles.
Well, thank you, Grant. I was standing in the back listening to Dave talk and then Sanjay. It's pretty fortunate that we all live and work in this community. The investment you have, the investment, Dave, that your entire organization has had really alongside us as we've all grown up together, it's pretty amazing. We're pretty fortunate to live in this amazing community. But I was thinking 2 years ago, I think I had an opportunity to come speak before the town at the State of the Town, and it was just a couple of weeks before the world turned upside down. And I got an opportunity to tell Roger Penske stories, because Roger had just been announced as he'd purchased the Speedway. That closed in January, so we were a couple months in of learning what it was like to work with Roger Penske, and it has been an unbelievable experience. And I think I told you all some of the stories about how Roger's work ethic that we all know is truly that work ethic, and it is 24 hours a day, and how he one day in December said, hey, can you meet me for breakfast tomorrow morning downtown? Meet me at 6:30. I show up at 6, park my car, walk into 6:05. He's waiting in the lobby for me, looking at me. He looked at his watch. He goes, okay, I guess we'll have this conversation now. But Roger Penske at 6:05 for a 6:30 meeting, I was late, right? And I learned really quickly that you had to be on time with Roger and how focused he was. But we talk about fortunate partners like Sanjay and Dave. We are so fortunate to have had Roger Penske, because I believe firmly that without Roger Penske having purchased the Indianapolis Motor Speedway before COVID, I'm not sure we'd be open today. Not only because of Roger's leadership, but because Roger took the opportunity to invest in the Speedway in a year when everybody else stopped. So in 2020, he invested, continued to invest, and it was all about the customer experience. It really wasn't about show me how I'm going to get a return on this investment I'm going to make. He knew that over time that would come there. One of the days early on when COVID was happening and the market just completely crashed, and I think Penske's stock went from somewhere in the 30s down into the teens, he'd come in to visit the Speedway like he has really done at least once every week since he's purchased the Speedway. I walked into our conference room there, and we were still not sure what COVID was all about, and Roger's over 80, so we had him on one side of the room. We all stayed away from him, but he wanted to have that interaction. And I walked in the morning and walked in the door, and the first thing he said is, Mr. Bowles, how are you doing this morning? And I said, no, the question is, how are you doing? Because, yesterday the stock market had been terrible. He looks at me quizzically and he said, let me tell you something. Everything in life is an opportunity, and this is an opportunity. So I walked in our little off our conference room to grab a cup of coffee, and I'm thinking, here's this guy whose stock has just collapsed. He's bought a Speedway for millions and millions of dollars, and we don't know if we're going to get to have a race, and he's got this amazing attitude. And I walked back in the conference room to sit down. He said, let me clarify that so you understand what I just said. He said, yesterday we were 2 laps ahead. Today we're 1 lap ahead, but we're still winning. So that is the attitude that Roger Penske has as he's helped lead us through the last 2 years. He literally has been here every week since he purchased the Speedway, many times more than once a week. He's invested in this community, and it's because of folks like Sanjay and Dave and the residents of Speedway. He is in love with what this town means. And for many of you, if you've seen him, if you've been walking up Georgetown Road on a weekend or a weekday when we were out in the cold or in the summer walking with Roger, he loves to say hello to people along the fence line. So if you see him walking, yell at him. He'll come over and say hello. It is something that has made him feel really a big part of what the town of Speedway is. So for that, on behalf of Roger, thank you for being an unbelievable community. We all knew it. And we've convinced an unbelievable American businessman that his investment in the Indianapolis Motor Speedway is not just good because of his passion for the Speedway, but because of the residents of the town of Speedway and what you all have meant. One of my favorite things to do every day is try and flip a coin and decide whether I'm going to go to Spark or Founders Grounds. I used to be a Starbucks guy, and I do still try and get by there because they're part of the town, but it's pretty amazing to see what's happening on Main Street. I'm really excited about the energy and all the investment, and this is a town that I think we can all be proud of. I know when Dave's got people in trying to convince them to come work at Allison's when they're from wherever, we are proud to go down Main Street, all the places to eat, and just the sort of community feel that has been developed here, so thank you so much for that. I know that our customers, when they come in, love that. we've also learned that not just the customers that come for the Indy 500, but customers that come for events that you don't think of as spectator events. So the SCCA runoffs came here in 2017 and fell in love with Main Street. They came back last year. It's 900 participants and all of the folks that help them race. So it's not a big 300,000 person event, but it is a bunch of people who save all their money all year. It is their vacation. And hanging out on Main Street. And Sanjay, I assume you had a whole bunch of people for SCCA that were coming here to race that stayed in your hotel. And by the way, I haven't gotten an opportunity to see it yet. I've heard that this is the case, that from the upper floor, a couple rooms in the upper floors of the hotel, you can literally see the pagoda. And so one of these nights I'm going to reserve a room and just sit there and stare out the window and look at the lit up pagoda, because I think that's really cool. So thank you for that. This year we're excited because we are planning for the first time in a couple of years a full-on 300,000 plus person Indianapolis 500. So that is really what that is for what inside the walls at the Speedway we believe is the gift that we owe Roger Penske. He invested in the Speedway. He knows what the Speedway is like, from driving under Tunnel 2 to parking at his motorhome, to walking into pit lane, to occasional trip to the suite, and 18 times to victory lane. But Roger has never experienced a full-on Indianapolis 500 when we could load the place up. So for all of us that are working every day, 80 days from now, we hope that we'll have 300,000 plus people in the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Our ticket sales are as strong as they've ever been, with the exception of the 100th running of the Indianapolis 500 in 2016, which you can imagine, but they are way up, so the number of 300,000 plus is a number that we know we're going to hit. It's going to be a fantastic Indianapolis Motor Speedway. We love the doubleheader with IndyCar and NASCAR on the same weekend. It gives us an opportunity for those IndyCar fans who aren't really comfortable yet, even after 25 years, with NASCAR running at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, for them to be able to come in and enjoy time with our IndyCar drivers. And I promise you that will fix the curbs. So for those of you that saw the race last year, we had these curbs that amazingly lasted fine from 2014 through 2021 when the IndyCar guys used it, and it actually worked pretty well when the Xfinity cars used it. But the Cup cars last year decided to tear those up. So actually, if you hear a race car running around the racetrack on Tuesday, we are actually finalizing a test on the road course and the chicane on what we're going to do with those curbs. So we're going to do that on Tuesday, get those installed. End of the month, Indy cars will be on the racetrack on the road course the very last day in March, so we'll be beginning to get ready. We'll have our open test in the 21st, 22nd, something like that, of April on the oval. We're hoping for good weather, because that's a great opportunity for everybody to come out and get excited about the Indy 500 being right around the corner. Normal May, with the exception of some of you may have seen yesterday, we made an announcement that we're actually moving the Legends Day concert downtown for this year. The biggest thing that we want to do at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway is execute the Indianapolis 500 properly. And we haven't had music the last 2 years. And to be transparent, Roger's not quite understanding how music connects to racing. I've had a big conversation about how it makes the event, and he gets that, but he doesn't want us to fail in delivering an Indianapolis 500. So what we're going to do is we're going to have Carb Day as normal, so you have Carb Day in the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Saturday, we're going to have the public drivers meeting like we have. We're going to encourage everybody then to go down to the parade, and then we'll have that concert downtown, which will allow our staff to make sure that the Indianapolis Motor Speedway is ready for the gates to open at 6 o'clock in the morning for the 106th running of the Indy 500. So we're excited about connecting to downtown Indianapolis. We're also excited about the opportunity for our staff to go to bed early. Typically, they're up all night getting ready for cleaning up and then getting ready for race day. So that's going to be a big help for us. Not a permanent move, but it's something we're excited about. So that's the little change that you will see. We'll be making our Carb Day announcement here in the next couple of weeks in terms of talent. Once we get through May, we've got a lot of activity going on with the new BMW Center. So we're building a new facility on the north end of the racetrack that BMW is going to use for 20 days in 2022. And that really, it's going to start a little bit immediately after the Indianapolis 500 with a big M program that they'll have. And it'll be some public days in there, which I think will be fun. Got SVR, a vintage race, coming back this year in June, which we're excited about as well. Obviously the NASCAR IndyCar weekend in July. And then at the end of the year, we'll have our Porsche Together Fest will come back again in September. Chevrolet's going to do about 3 busy weeks through the end of September, and then we'll end with our Indy 8-hour, as well as some other activities on weekends that are less public. So it should be a normal Indianapolis Motor Speedway weekend. In terms of things that you'll notice different, not a lot. The things that you're going to notice is you're going to have to look around. Roger's really allowed us to invest in a lot of the things that were deferred maintenance. So if you have seats in the tower terrace and you've been underneath the tower terrace and you've looked up at that steel's been needing some repair for a long time. That will be completely done. You'll walk in and you won't even know it looks brand new. It's almost complete now. It's an amazing improvement. The oldest building on our facility, with the exception of the barn at the golf course, is our Infield Care Center, so our Level 1 Trauma Center, which is the busiest hospital in America, busiest emergency room in America from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. on race day. That is getting completely renovated. Right now, if you were in the Speedway, the exterior's been changed, so we're taking care of that. A, for our drivers, but B, that's also open to the public. Our great partners at IU Health, if you get sick at the Speedway or you want to see a doctor at the Speedway, it costs you nothing to go see our doctors to get taken care of. The only time you'd end up paying is if you get transferred to the hospital. So we do try and take care of everybody there, and that hospital sees a lot of folks that come through it, so we want to make sure that it's up to par. So those are the two biggest projects that we're working on, trying to get completed before the end of this year. Again, just thank you so much for the partnership we have with the town. It is an amazing partnership. We are excited to continue to work with you all. We are excited to host 300,000 people in our community on May 29th this year, 80 days from now. And the last thing I'll leave you with today was Blue Envelope Day. So for those of you who do come to the Indianapolis 500 every year, you know what that means. That means we sent out about 154,000 tickets in the blue envelopes. So people will start seeing those begin to show up at their doorsteps probably tomorrow. So it is time to go racing, and we look forward to continuing to partner with all of you. And please, if there's something we can do at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, Adam Gonzalez, who's in the back, who was worried that I was going to be late. I got a text. He said, "If you're not here, you know I have to speak." I said, "Yeah, you're all good. You grew up in this town. You'll be fine." Adam is completely committed to this community, lives here, raises a family here. If there's anything we can do, Adam and I sure hope you'll ask us, because we certainly want to be good partners and good citizens, and we look forward to continuing to hopefully make you all proud. So thanks for having us.
Thank you, Doug. Another great community partner are our Speedway Schools. So tonight, Dr. Kyle Trebele is going to speak with us about the great happenings in 2021 with the Speedway Schools. Thank you. Thank you.
Mr. Disney, 2 years ago I asked you to never follow him, and it happened again. But can you add to my list these two guys too? Appreciate that. On behalf of the Board of Trustees and the school Town of Speedway, I'd like to thank you for providing me this opportunity to speak about Speedway Schools. Speedway Schools continue to lead Marion County with both the highest academic achievement and highest growth scores in Marion County. Speedway Schools continues to receive numerous awards from the local, state, and national level, from such as an A School Corporation from the Indiana Department of Education, National Blue Ribbon Schools, numerous four-star schools, the U.S. News America's Best High School, AP Tip Indiana Affiliate School of the Year, James Allison Title I Distinguished School nomination, and the list continues to grow, and it happens every year. Our academic success does not happen by luck. Our historic academic success is proven year after year by the core foundations of the great people of this town before me. Our beloved teachers, administrators, staff, and community members made a commitment to education back in 1926, and that commitment continues today. We, like them, believe that the core principle to having a local controlled school corporation with a focus on our students. To achieve such high goals requires outstanding teachers, small class sizes, and focus on reading, writing, and arithmetic. These goals back in the early 1900s continue to be emphasized and executed in today's strategic planning. Speedway Schools is a unique school corporation, as we have an appointed school board that recently was awarded the Exemplary Governance Award by the Indiana School Board Association. This distinction is awarded by Indiana School Board Association and is earned by validating exemplary board service by showing evidence of leadership and governance, effectiveness, student achievement initiatives, continuous improvement, strategic planning, and policy review. The School Town of Speedway Board of Trustees has received this highest award for 3 years in a row. Last year, our board was the only school board in the state to receive this. These numerous accolades are impossible without the dedication from our students, support from parents, leadership from our administration, and hard work from our staff and teachers. Also, financially, Speedway Schools remain economically viable and solvent, which is good. We continue to collect the least in property taxes and believe that we should use the most of taxpayers' money in the classroom that will directly affect student achievement. We continue to focus on safety and facility upgrades for our corporation. Recently, Speedway School Corporation received the Secured School Safety Grant for $100,000. That will help for our appropriations for paying for our high school front door security project, 1961, shovel in the ground, 1963, first class. That's our newest building. So we're redoing the front, upgrading the front office to create a single point of entry into the high school and improve our security cameras and upgrade our cosmetics of the high school office. In the past few years, the corporation has replaced our HVAC units, as I've said before, for all three of our standalone elementaries of Wheeler, Allison, and Newby, and added security doors. At Newby Elementary, we have upgraded our mechanic room, student bathrooms, some additional classrooms. LED lights have been added across the corporation inside and out. Things are good. Our success happens because of the teamwork with our local government, town council, school board, police, fire, park and rec, water and street departments, but most importantly, the people of Speedway. The school corporation can't say thank you enough, and I thank you too. Have a great night.
Thank you, Dr. Trebly. It's always great to hear all the great things that are happening with our students, and they're our future. So it's great to know that Speedway's in good hands, and we have a lot to look forward to. So finally, I think we're ready for the main event, right? We've had some great speakers. Vince Noblet, our town council president. I probably set him up for failure. Sorry about that, Vince. I want to do that let's get ready to rumble thing. Yeah, sorry. So we're going to go ahead and turn some time over to Vince Noblet, who's going to talk about the town's accomplishments, employees' accomplishments in 2021. Vince?
Well, it's great to hear that everybody has a larger budget than we do. But needless to say, I mean, this is a great event to have everybody here tonight. It's wonderful to see so many fresh faces and see the optimism. And, you know, and that's what makes Speedway special, is that optimism, the opportunity to, you know, make an impact. And there's nothing better than making an impact in a small town where you can see results, you know, from that standpoint. But I want to thank all of you for attending this year's State of the Town, whether in person or via live stream tonight. Your participation is appreciated, and I hope tonight provides you with valuable information about the work that's taking place here in the town of Speedway, along with the many other exciting plans for the horizon of 2022. You know, this is where block and tackling takes place. In any organization, somebody's got to do the work. And that's where a lot of the members that are team members in the town of Speedway are the guys behind the scene. And it's a pleasure working with them in 2021. The Speedway Municipal Center officially opened in March of 2021. We were challenged with planning and renovating a bank into an efficient, functionable municipal office. And we left all the vaults, in case you guys don't want us to leave any money. It's all right there behind the scenes area. First Bank and Trust first owned the building, added on 2 or 3 times with PNC, and we made the changes into the municipal building. It's been a great location to basically bring together functions of the town. Police department's on the far west end of the office, you know, anchored by our town clerk treasurer's office on the east side and administration in the middle. It gives us this opportunity to have this big basement here in which we can hold meetings in a comfortable location and then broadcast out to the rest of the town live. I wanted to basically thank that Tim Gropp, our Economic Development Director, was instrumental in leading this project and making it happen. It came in March, the staff moved in, settled soon, opened the building, and community organizations and civil groups began to use the meeting for gathering space downstairs. So that was the first functional thing that we really got into. Despite the COVID-19 challenges, they were still present in 2021 in their town. The town and the community experienced many good, positive things in the past year. You know, action was taken and placed the future of the growth of our town in our town's hands as council approved ordinance number 1347, which allowed the town of Speedway to control the future of our planning and development regarding land use and zoning. Two critical factors to determining your own destiny as a small town. You know, it's hard if you are in Indianapolis to understand what is going on in these 5 square miles. We see it, we live it, and you know, and that's where we want to be able to control it, you know, from that standpoint. Opening of future businesses was paid by Founders Square, hosting a ribbon cutting for the first tenants, Ollie Grocery Store and Crew Car Wash, with more coming in the future. I think Founders Square, I don't know if a lot of you remember the old Howard Johnson's, the old Holiday Inn. Sanjay, not to say anything bad about the hotel industry, but you know, they caused us to incur a lot of overtime in our police department. But the Speedway hosted fun events, worthwhile events like Rockin' on Main, Oktoberfest, pop-up art shows. We had concert in the park, Trunk or Treat, the Jolly Jubilee, and Light the Night, to name a few. One of the community favorites was watching the Speedway High School Band lead the Indianapolis Pace Cars down Main Street. Watching the band proudly lead the way and the drivers waving and engaging with the community and the fans cheering back was it just had a contagious energy that day. And I don't know if that was spontaneous, but I want to, Doug, thank you very much for helping us pull that off, and thank every parent that has a kid in the Speedway High School Band. They had to be proud that day to march down Main Street. I think we had them march like 4 or 5 times down the street, but it was a great day. It was a perfect picture for the month of May. The success I just touched on, along with those that you can find on display and posters around the Municipal Center and Space Tonight, happened by talented, dedicated, strong employees and leaders. You know, I've been involved in business, but this is my first really go-around in government. Started in 2005 on the Redevelopment Commission, didn't know anything. It took me a little while, met with Larry Dewey. He set me straight right off the bat. And he said, how can I attract engineers and talented employees to a place that I've got a dump outside my window? So he gave us the marching orders. We heard, the town heard. Basically, it was how we're going to get the job done. With the help of the City of Indianapolis, we basically were able to develop a plan, make the changes to the streets, and start attracting new businesses and talent on Main Street. I think it was a confidence level that was developed over a short period of time that solved the vision. And you know, once the vision was found, we got help by everybody. And it was great to be a chief participant in that. In 2021, the town congratulated 3 longtime tenured employees as they announced their well-deserved retirements. Our police chief of 11 years, Jim Campbell, came from Indianapolis and came from IMS. He brought a sense of stability to our police department, and he was a great addition at the time, and he had a long career, and it was sad to see him go in 2021. The wastewater and superintendent, also 30 years, Norm Berry. This is a man that started basically, and his job is not a well-known job down there at the wastewater treatment plant, but he was a very important cog to making our town grow. You can't build or invest in a community that unless you have clean water and the ability to treat the wastewater. Our police department secretary at 35 years, Tonya, she was a long-term employee and basically was the cornerstone and I'm sure did a lot of work for the Speedway Police Department. We also experienced the sad loss of Sergeant Mark Morgan, who gave 40 years of service to the town of Speedway. It was a sad day on going to his funeral, and I could tell that he was a well-loved officer, not only within the department, but within the town. The experience and knowledge of all those individuals cannot be replaced, and we thank each of them for their many years of service in Town of Speedway. 2021 also allowed us to onboard new personnel to the town administration. Our town manager, Grant Kleinhens, we stole him from Brownsburg, and he's been a great addition. Grant, welcome to the town, and thank you. Our communications director, Cheryl McElroy, she's another big addition, and that has been very helpful in making our communications important to tell the public exactly what we are doing as a town and where we're going. And Cheryl is helping us basically solve those issues, and I appreciate it, Cheryl. Our executive assistant, Eder Lopez, is one of those guys who's one of the block and tacklers. He's got to do the work, and I appreciate him coming on to our team and getting things done. Each of you bring valuable experience, new perspectives, and strong leadership into 2022. Without question, it takes a village of people to build the type of community that Speedway takes pride in being. Many of these people work behind the scenes, giving the best to keep Speedway growing and thriving in the right direction. So again, I thank all the employees of the town for that. Our police department successfully policed the many events that took place in town, from the smallest event to the iconic Indianapolis 500. The police department is currently working on a reaccreditation of CALIA. It's the gold standard benchmark for public safety. He's also been able to secure federal grants funding to purchase firearms and aerial simulators. It's sad that we have to do that, but it's best to be trained. And in today's environment, you got to be forward thinking on that. But it prepares the officers for various shooting encounters. SPD continues to employ dedicated and professional men and women who work hard to keep Speedway safe and secure as a town. And so we thank them for their service. Thank you, Chuck. Speedway's code enforcement works diligently to ensure that Speedway neighborhoods are maintained for safety, upkeep, and appearance, which improves property values and the quality of life for all of our residents. Our code enforcement officers, most of the time they get a bad rap, but it's a very important job that they do. I think they educate and support citizens and businesses about maintaining their personal property, as well as answering questions about codes and ordinances. During 2021, the code enforcement managed over 5,000 property concerns, and we recovered costs that have been incurred by local government or local environmental situations. The code enforcement works and collaborates with the Speedway Building Commissioner. The Commissioner provides the services such as obtaining permits, leading inspections, and managing many other building and zoning issues. During the 2021, Speedway Building Commissioner worked for projects on Allison's Transmission. Of course, you guys kept him busy. IMS, 1300 block in Founders Square. The Speedway Fire Department maintains 100% staffing during the 2021 pandemic. This is important. They took it very serious, and we appreciated having our back. And they provide assistance on making 4,415 emergency runs during 2021. That's amazing. It says, to improve the speed and efficiency of vehicle extractions, the fire department purchased new battery-operated extraction equipment. They also worked to receive a $98,000 grant from the Office of Energy Development to install new doors and windows on Station 88 and 89 to make these facilities energy efficient and promote cancer prevention safety in the workplace. Thank you very much. Appreciate it, Bob. I would be remiss if I didn't double down on the U.S. News and World Report when they unveiled the 2021 best high schools. And out of the local level, 98 area schools, Speedway High School, again, ranked #1. That's phenomenal. And I think, in addition, Speedway High School was recognized for Blue Ribbon School by U.S. Department of Education. These honorable mentions are attributes to the school leaderships of Dr. Trebley and Dr. Disney. Dr. Disney says he's a quiet guy in the back, and but believe me, he's in touch with everything that goes on in this town. And it doesn't happen without the support of families in the town of Speedway and the combined efforts of the teachers and students striving for academic success. So kudos to our schools. The Speedway Town Clerk Treasurer's Office maintained a A+ credit rating while overseeing and keeping expenditures below the 2021 budget of $26.8 million. The team successfully filed 2021 annual financial report with the Department of Local Government in an on-time manner and passed a successful audit of the 2019 and 2020 financials by the State Board of Accounts. 1,360 permits were issued in 2021, while 4,425 phone calls were managed by the clerk's office. It said the clerk treasurer's office was able to pay down, this is impressive, $3.56 million in debt while maintaining disclosure requirements in all town and utility bonds. So, and finally, to better serve the community, they launched a 24/7 pay by phone. They'll take it any time. Bill option. Thank you, Jacob. So, the economic development position of Speedway grows, even though we're a 5 square mile community. We're still growing. We will all be changing. I think the minute that we stop is the minute we start going backwards. And redevelop and new business, new housing opportunities, and higher current property values. An example of those investments were talked about by Dave. The investment by Allison's and the Innovation Center. I was blown away by the Vehicle Electrification Environmental Test Center. It's phenomenal. I mean, it's scary. So I'm glad that is in our town. Thank you again for that. $50 million in Founders Square development investment happened in 2021. Aldi's Grocery, we got to have a second grocery in town. And Crew Car Wash started off, and with the Freddy's Frozen Custard, waiting for that. And it's a steak burger, Hampton Inn. Sanjay, you're on there. You're making an investment in the town of Speedway, and we appreciate it. To note, I think that senior living apartments, there is a place there, and then there will be starting construction probably in 22, 23. But that's an important part of the town of Speedway, is having a place where our seniors can go to and still stay in town. Right now, they have got to go outside of town. And I think it's a critical need that we're addressing, and looking forward to that building getting built. On Main Street investment, 1,300 block building to host the condominiums, apartments, and along with Le Peep Restaurant and a wine and table. Again, changing the face of Speedway, and in that same development, there's going to be a pocket park on the north end. So that, the residents can, while they're there, get their coffee over at Spark and sit down and enjoy it. Successful development like this requires hard work and dedication. None of this would be possible without the Economic Development Director, Tim Gropp, as well as the Speedway Redevelopment Commission. I can't tell you how much time is spent by commission members sitting through many meetings and understanding what we need. Everybody can tell you what we need, but getting it done is a different thing. And that's where the blocking and tackling comes into play, and that's where the Speedway Redevelopment Commission did a good job and continue to move this town forward. I also wanted to talk about a little bit of Speedway Communications. Worked hard to keep the community engaged and informed in a timely and consistent manner. It's always been a problem. We do great things in this town, but we don't talk about it. And so communications was streamlined into one Facebook page and one town website, along with residential emails. Monthly e-newsletter was developed to provide business community with the same information that is shared by residents. We also drafted a social media policy that implemented guidelines for better digital engagement along with town branding, and it was embedded into communication pieces, along with a town mission and vision development session was planned to provide continued awareness and information of resources regarding the proposed water and wastewater capital improvement plan. All these were basically brought about our communications department. Thank you very much. I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about the street department, especially with snow on the way. I said they worked to improve the streets, sidewalks, ensure clean, safe town. The crews cleaned 29 miles of sewers and worked in 10 weather events that required 459 man-hours of work in the winter. They said they also used 240 tons of salt. That's a lot of salt. But it takes that in order to keep our streets in working operating condition, even during rough winter events. The department was awarded $260,000 in community crossing grants in 2021. They resurfaced 0.39 miles of streets, 3,470 feet of new curb, 2,812 feet of new sidewalks and driveway approaches in the Vinewood, Meadowwood area. So those are the lucky guys this year. We'll see if we can spread it around a little bit for next year. The Speedway wastewater treatment plant had a busy 2021, including 3 plant retirements, resulting in additional new employees learning from existing employees. The plant received a confirmed IDEM compliance inspection, as well as an IDEM recertification that confirms that the lab personnel and equipment are working properly. New installations were done, such as a jet pump and return waste pumps. The plant treats over 1.4 billion gallons of effluent a year. That's amazing. That's released out in a clean manner. Speedway Waterworks is made up of dedicated individuals who work hard to ensure the community has access to safe and reliable drinking water. During the 2021, new superintendent and assistant superintendent was appointed. All the while, the Speedway Waterworks team increases surface water production by 30% and increased well levels by 25%. Also, they had a decrease in their lab expenses by 30%. And I think that puts us on, we're getting more water and it's costing us less. So we're trying to be as most efficient as we possibly can in production of clean water to all the citizens of Speedway. Speedway Parks and Recreation provides a wealth of amenities for the town in 2021, including 8 summer concerts and events such as Light the Night, Jolly Jubilee, Trunk or Treat, which reached over 800 attendees. It says by partnering with Speedway Schools, Parks and Recs was able to offer 19 summer camps that filled 341 camp openings. We also had free summer swim lessons with 88 Speedway kids participating. Park improvements include the installation of a story walk at Meadowwood Park, in addition to the planting of 8 tribute trees and the installation of the East Ball Diamond lights that were all part of the Leonard Park improvement projects funded by the Federal Land and Water Conservation Grant. If you would play, Brian, if you'd play the video, I'd appreciate it. I hope he's not asleep. Okay, we'll get started here. My name is Vince Noblet, President of the Speedway Town Council. I want to welcome everybody here today for this momentous occasion. 2021. I'm going to call the first meeting to order in our new location here at the Speedway Municipal Center. Start off by roll call. To my right, it's David Lindsay.
Good evening. One of the things we wanted to do in this building is connect with the community in more ways that we can.
I'm Officer Howard, the Speedway Police Department. This is SWAT Officer Howard, Speedway Police Department.
This logo represents Speedway's past, present, and future as a town driven by tradition.
To be breaking ground here today in Speedway in the month of May.
First of all, I want to thank Town of Speedway for welcoming us with an open arm, having this project here.
I love Santa. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, Speedway. Are you guys ready to come up and see me? Go right up here.
Look at me now. Look at me now. Check me out. Look at me now.
So 2021 went by in a flash, even though COVID-19 tried to slow us down. I think looking forward to 2022, we're very optimistic. Once we got the mask off and now we can start operating events in a more open way in which everybody can participate. One thing I want to address is to give everybody a Wilshall update. That's the big rusted out cement hunk that is in front of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. In November of 2021, Hotel Equities met with the town council regarding its intentions to take over and complete the Wilshall Hotel project. Hotel Equities has a proven track record in developing hotels at various stages and managing an exceptional hospitality experience. So the town proceeded in hopes of completing the project and avoid a costly litigation. So there are three main components that the town was looking for, or requirements that must be met in place for the town to continue to move forward on this path. One was to safeguard, to pay the bonds remains in place and set forth in the original agreement. This is extremely important for the town council to protect the taxpayers of this town. The second was to protect the architectural amenities, and the flag remains as close to the original approved plan as possible. So in other words, build what you say you were going to build at that point. Construction would also recommence no later than May of 2022. As of today, all three of these pieces are currently in place. As we shared repeatedly, the complications of this transaction because of several stakeholders are involved, and it took an extreme amount of time to bring everybody to the table and understand where we're going to be going. Hotel Equities is working closely with Wilhelm Construction and Scannell Properties to finish up all the agreements, and we are pleased that Wilhelm Construction is fully on board with this. Wilhelm Construction was on the line for $4.5 million. And, he had a lot to lose with this project. Hotel Equities came in and invested $2 million. That's how serious they are getting this project done. So, the council feels confident that Hotel Equity can finalize the financing of this project and still be on track for a restart in May. Hotel Equities couldn't join us tonight, but Nick Montague shared a statement. It says, "We have been fully engaged in this project and are committed to its success. and are on the path to recommence construction in May. And believe me, as a person that's been through this whole thing from the very beginning, I'll be happy to cut a ribbon at that time. The next is Federer Square development. Investment continues. Freddy's Frozen Custard and Steak Burgers and the Hampton Inn and Suites should be well on its way. Senior living apartments will get started. Valvoline oil changing store will be also in the mix. I also want to announce that performance racing industry cemented their place in Speedway by moving to Main Street. And CRI, or PRI, is basically an annual event in the city of Indianapolis downtown that is a huge event to bring all of the racing manufacturers' component parts, and it's held right here in the city of Indianapolis, and we'll have the headquarters on Main Street. Also want to announce that the Borage restaurant and bakery is in construction at 16th and Lyndhurst. 1300 block of Main is making noticeable progress and should be completed of additional condominiums and apartments. Le Peep restaurant, wine and table will become a big part of Main Street, Land Street. The proposed water and wastewater capital improvement rate increases are under consideration. If approved, this plan will allow the town to continue to provide safe drinking water and effective wastewater treatment processing in our community. Personnel changes as of 2022, Assistant Chief Upchurch was appointed Chief of Police. Chief, can you please stand? I think this has been a great addition, and Chief, thank you for taking the job. Yeah. Ronnie Smith was appointed as Water Superintendent. Brad Sloan was appointed as our Wastewater Superintendent, and the Town of Speedway hired the first HR manager, Nikki Parker, to help us with our personnel. And it's very important that we follow all of the HR rules, and also it's important that our employees understand what their benefits are. If they don't understand what the benefits that they're receiving, they don't understand the value that they have. So welcome to Nikki Parker. And so also, I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about this opportunity to thank our longtime Economic Development Director, Tim Gropp. Last week, Tim announced his resignation as he accepted a position as town manager of McCordsville. It's been my pleasure to work with Tim as the Speedway Economic Development Director. The growth of our town has experienced under Tim's leadership speaks to his commitment to making Speedway a better place to live. Tim, thank you, valued asset of the town. And the words that you've been waiting for closing is, as I conclude this evening program, I'd like to thank our guests here tonight. Each have given and supporting this community in different ways. The Speedway Fire and Police Honor Guard, Miss Brittany Matthews, if she's still here, Father Paul, Dr. Trebly and Dr. Disney, Sanjay Patel. Also, David, thank you very much. I appreciate you being here tonight. And Doug Bowles from IMS. He's always a thrill to have. He's a great speaker, and I would be too if I was putting on a party for 300,000. Speedway Lions, I want to thank Speedway Lions for providing the refreshments. And I also want to thank all the town employees for their dedication to their work. It's reflected in the town that you see every day. It says you're a big part in making Speedway what it is. I want to thank to all the volunteers who serve on 16 boards and commissions. This is time, it's an unbelievable amount of time, from all the parks boards to redevelopment. They just spend an unbelievable amount of time making sure that what you see on the videos happens. To all my fellow counselors who also serve alongside me and strive to continue to make Speedway a better place, please stand. Gary, it's Gary and Gary tonight. Yeah. Most of all, I want to thank you, the residents and businesses of Speedway. It's your involvement, it's your voice, it's your actions that make this a great community in which to work, live, and play. Thank you.
I don't think I need to say anything else. Just thank you for coming and drive safe tonight. Let's make Speedway even better in '22. Thank you.